It turns out there's a lot of torches here. Maybe there's too many torches actually, now that I think about it. There may be too many torches. But it's so fun though. What if I halved the torches? It's probably too many. It's probably too many. Right. Alright, on second thought, there's too many torches. Can I reasonably halve them? If we say not those. Take out every second one. I Okay, before I continue, every second one. I guess that means this and this, but I don't know if it lines up on the other side. Oh, it does. No, it doesn't. Crap. It doesn't line up on the other side. Maybe? No, not every second one, because that's removed. We don't remove this one. Remove this one. Alright, let me pick up all the end rods. Alright, so that means we also remove those. I'm on fire! Uh... Curious. I'm not sure what. Just trying to figure out what I actually did. I'm doing this right? I was saying earlier how it's interesting to do irregular shapes. And Now I'm confused. I'm confused by this pattern. Yeah, I think this is right. But who really knows? Did that drop into the fire? Oh, that dropped into the fire. Not that one. So, as I was saying, getting confused. Ah, crap. Okay. Fewer torches. Okay, that's better. That's better. Double check to make sure that I have broken all the right ones. Okay, that's much better. Clear out half the torches. Flaming pillars. Of course, torches are an actual thing in the game. Alright, and then cutting back the plinths. Oops. Alright, put that back. That back. I really do need to replace that. I should go down one side and then come back up the other. Oh. Okay. Forgot one. Alright, that there. That there. Ah, we don't need that anymore. I was thinking too, it's like you don't, in the real world, you don't really get to design things like sacrificial altars. Like, you know, as a designer, or even an architect, it would either be like stage props or a video game, right? Like, because otherwise people won't actually ask you to design things like this. So it's the sort of thing that real architects don't get the opportunity to think about how to make weird shapes like this. which is interesting to think about. Like, there are a lot of possible buildings that are never actually built because nobody wants them. We're getting into like a pretty abstract stuff. Frank Gehry, the guy who built Guggenheim Bilbao, you know, the Titanium Museum, the Titanium Art Gallery with weird shapes. So Frank Gehry, he built his own house as an experiment. When you if you're asking like how did he figure out how to work with sheet metal to make like really weird shapes? Because like you know, it's not just a matter of imagining the shapes. You have to make it work structurally. You have to make it work. You know, you have to keep the rain out and keep the wind out, and then everything has to fit together. So he built his own house, and his own house has got like sheet metal and wire mesh and like all different types of stuff. And you can see that he was like experimenting and trying to figure out how to make irregular sheet metal or irregular metal shapes. And he just did it on his own house, right? Because nobody would pay him to do that stuff. But once he built his own house and he could prove that it works, then other people were willing to hire him to do this. Because now they could like go to his house and see that it actually works. Because otherwise no one would believe him, right? It's like, you want to do what? You want to make what shapes with what? So it's like the stuff that, you know, as an architect, how do you prove really wacky ideas? I guess you have to start with small projects. And then like work your way up. But all the weird architecture that exists in the world, like that stuff, they wouldn't exist if you don't make these sorts of experiments, I guess. And going back to what I was saying, like there are a lot of possible shapes in the world, a lot of possible buildings in the world that don't actually exist because you know, you have to convince somebody to pay for it. And if it's too experimental, then people won't pay for it because they don't want to take the risk. Anyway, nobody's going to pay you to build a sacrificial altar. But here we are. I believe I'm done with this one. I believe this is complete. Let me just like look at it from a distance. Something unholy is happening here. There's fire, there's lava, there's snake-like shapes, and most of all, there's a big head. What does it look like from above? Let me just go up the stairs. Right, giant head. Very interesting. Oh, like Baroque architecture. Just thinking about interesting shapes. Like there was Renaissance. The Renaissance, Italian Renaissance, they went back and they looked at ancient Roman and Greek architecture and they started rebuilding that stuff. And then after a while, the architects got bored because, you know, there's only so much classical, only so much stuff you can do with classicals. And then they started experimenting with Baroque, which is like you take those elements and then you make unusual shapes with them. So instead of having like a like a straight, like columns. And then instead of doing that, you just kind of curve them. You have like a curving series of columns. Or instead of having a flat wall, you have walls that kind of bend in and out. So you started making more interesting geometry, but using those elements, and that became the Baroque. And in architecture school, if you read architecture books, they'll talk about like a staircase. Was it Michelangelo's staircase? I think it was Michelangelo's staircase. It's just like stairs. It's not even a big staircase. It's just like several steps. And you read about like these few steps. You're like, what's the big deal? It's just like steps. But it was steps where they were curved out and then curved in. So instead of having like just a straight staircase, it kind of curved. And that was like the first experiment into Baroque, right? And then from that, you kind of just start curving everything and start kind of breaking things up, and eventually it became a whole different architectural style. And the significance of those like 3 or 4 steps, or was it 5 steps? I think it was 3 steps actually. Like the significance of those few steps was that that was the first experiment. And nobody's gonna pay you to build the whole building that way until you've proven that it can work, right? And so you start off with this small staircase to test the idea. Where else can I go? So from here, that's where the flaming torches start to disappear, unfortunately. But the end rods are still visible. Interestingly, oh, the lava is. Does the lava effects? Do the Oh, hey, that's really good. Look at that. So at that distance, you can't see the fire anymore, but the lava is still emitting light, so you can still see the glow underneath the head all the way in the distance. That's very cool, actually. Very cool. Alright, well, that's it for the sacrificial altar. I think I'm done. Completely finished with this one. I'm gonna tidy up my boxes in my own time. And then next week, I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. I honestly don't know. I might put a botanical garden on the museum island. So the museum of everything has all the items. I might like grow some trees, have like a botanical garden here to have like one of each tree. How is this a hospital to balance it out? How was yeah, no. I mean, I think I'm done with the evil stuff for a while. That's why I said like a nice botanical garden over there. Hospital, well, maybe. Are we implying that if the hospital can't save you, then you get sacrificed? I'm sorry, it looks like your cancer is terminal. But good news, we can make use of you. Alright, I'll think about what I'll do next week. In the meantime, I'm out. See you next time.